All right, 1959 Cadillac fender skirt delete. Here goes. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. First things first, I made a template out of cardboard on the front fender. I then drew that onto the fender skirt. Now I've removed the fender skirt brackets, and I'm now going to take a grinder. And you don't believe I'm doing this? Here it goes. If you decide this is something you would like to do, I hope my video helps you. That's the only screw up Harley Earl ever did, was making a fender skirt not removable on the prettiest car ever made. All right, so we got that cut away. The only problem we're gonna run into is getting a molding to work back here. Now, it's not gonna be easy to do that. So I'm probably gonna end up resorting to have someone make me one, or just take them off the front for a while, and that way it'll match. But that'll be the most difficult part. But I'm not worried. We're going to do the right thing and not worry about that right now. We're just going to go to hacking this car up and hope we can find a molding later. I'm thinking I can use probably at least some of the front fender molding back from here to here. The biggest issue is going to be finding something that comes straight up through here. It very well may end up using something off of another car, even a, who knows, just something. So we'll work that out later. But the main thing is to get this gosh awful fender skirt totally eliminated. I hate fender skirts so bad. I just hate them. I hate them. That's in my opinion, it's the gosh awfulest thing they ever put on a car. So we're getting rid of them. So I made 3 lines here, and I'm going to use the skirt to make this happen. Alright, so we made the initial cut of the fender skirt. Basically, I've got a good initial cut here, and now I'm going to study what I exactly need to do to finalize this curvature. And it's going to be higher than it is, and we're going to have a rolled lip for strength, and to get the quarter panel up as high as possible to give it that arch that we're looking for. Unfortunately, our fender skirt delete just become a whole lot more than just deleting some fender skirts. This whole car has got a lot of rust here down through here. I mean, just cutting this lip. A change of plans, I decided to get rid of this lip, and I've seen there's plenty of strength here without it, and I can, of course, re-weld the wheel well to the quarter panels, no problem there. There's already a natural lip here that we can use to mount a molding or keep strength, and basically end up using very little of the fender skirt. But car is made for, like, there's no metal here. It's all Bondo and rust. So I don't know how I think it's worse in this area. I'm hoping it's not as bad as we go further back, but now we've dove in here, we've got rust repair to do on top of you know, deleting the fender skirt. So it's going to be a lot more involved. I'll share that with you as well, but not what I really wanted to find. I knew there was some filler back here, but I didn't know it was rusted above the fender skirt. But as everything else looked pretty good. But it's what you run into on these old cars, so just beware. All right, so little unbeknownst to me, this car has a very nice natural lip, as if the car had never came this way. It's here. So the lip's there. I got rid of the lip. All I got to do is make sure the quarter skin is tack welded back to the inner wheelhouse. But here's the problem. You buy these cars and you know they got a little issues, but they're always worse than you hope, and they're always worse than you think. Here's what we just found cutting around back here. I knew this car had some issues, but they used masking paper to stick the Bondo to. Rust issues here. Not terrible. The bracing is all good, but I've got to get in here now, basically, and cut all this rust out. Repair has turned into probably a couple of week ordeal, working on the car off and on and amongst customer cars. The good thing is I'm not going to do anything that's going to keep the car from being drove. So like right now, the car can still be drove. All right, so as we continue this debacle here on this Cadillac, I must say I'm not the happiest about this situation. This is one of those sink or swim situations also, because I've never worked on one of these cars. The complexity of all of this crap back here, the way it's put together is, I mean, it's simple, but yet it's complex. There's a lot of areas where unless you cut metal that's good away, you simply can't get to it. Like a Monte Carlo, you can access the drop off from the underside of the car. You can't do that on this. So the whole side of the trunk was bad. I cut that out. These back quarter patch panels that they do sell, somebody makes them, they're $794 a set plus shipping. I just bought these. The guy was out of these. I just bought these. These were $145 for the pair, plus like $60 shipping. I don't know why the shipping was $60 from Florida, but whatever. So, and then they also make this piece up here. But this car is an absolute catastrophe. And again, I just don't want the car down for 3 or 4 weeks while I do this. I wanted this to kind of be like a week. Okay, so I've made the first modification in deleting the fender skirt. I've added some tape here, and you know, all you got to do if you're putting a car together for rod run, you just Bondo over the tape and you're good to go. But since we're actually want to make this last more than 6 minutes, we're gonna take some of that fender skirt and use it for the metal right here and weld that all up. Now, in doing this, you can also eliminate some of the inner house here. And now this will be a real easy, clean, and neat situation, because at this point, once I cut out all this Bondo and stuff underneath and replace it, I've just got to make a piece and weld this in here, and it'll be good. Now, when I see, this has got a lip here. So when I get the skirt put in, I got to put add the roll the lip on that skirt, and then that'll give it strength, and then simply contour it down this way. So that's basically what we're doing. This is still good and strong here because it's got a curve to it. And if I need to add, I can add a lip here by welding in a piece of metal if I need to. But now, if you noticed the video I put up the other day about the spray foam and the Skylark, where they spray foamed everything. I mean, it's amazing, the stuff. When this car was hacked up and tried to be fixed 20 or 30 years ago, they didn't even have spray foam in a can then. So, or this car would probably have that crap too. But I'm also going to do a little more of a modification here, add a little metal and make it match. I want to make the rear match the front as close as possible. So anyway, I'm explaining this. This is not going to be a short video, but I want to show you step by step my thought process and how I'm doing this. Continuing right along with our fender skirt delete, rust repair, removal. I'll show you what I was able to do. You did end up using a piece of the fender skirt. Can't finish welding that because that's a bunch of Bondo. I've ordered that piece above the skirt to replace it. I was able to make a couple of patch panels under here and just kind of piecemeal that back together. Cut all the rust out, of course. Luckily, I had a piece of metal that was bent just about the perfect shape out of something else. I believe it was out of a Cutlass quarter skin that I used for a patch panel in another customer car several years back, and it actually worked out pretty good. So you can see that there kind of coming along. I'll show you a look inside the trunk here. Got that cut out and got that cut out. And I did take the car to Philip Hartman PH Fabrication to have these trunk panels made. So I just added another piece of the fender skirt here to the body to give it a roll in the front, and it kind of rolls in the front of the car with the bumper with the curve. So I kept the curve on the front of the wheel here and taper back in the back. So for now, that's what I'm going to go with. So you saw it here first. Continuing on with this, got this side roughed in basically. I took a template off the other side to build this side. This body is something going on right in this area here. So I've got those patch panels on the way. It's not quite as sloped right there as I want it to be, but I'm gonna correct that with the patch panel and then the body work. Overall, I'm pretty happy the way it's looking. We got a pretty streamlined look going on here. So also waiting on the trunk repair panels to be made, but they should be done shortly. All right, so we made a good bit of improvement since the last section of the video here. Meant to show you how I used and built the lip, but I simply used some like 1/16 inch, 1/8 inch welding rod, welded it about that far back, and then it basically created a channel to lay the fiberglass reinforced filler in here. There's a lot of metal and stuff there from the car that helped too, so got a nice looking lip. Still working this out, pulling dents out from previous body damage. Got all that pulled out. It's going to be a minimal amount of filler now that has to be used. I grinded out probably, it felt like 2 gallons of filler out of both these quarter panels. So we're pulling dents out. Going to have a lot truer body to work with now at this point. Not only did this eliminate the fender skirts, this also eliminated a lot of problems in this car. So I've grinded out all the filler out of the rocker panel. I got to get down there and pull that dent out. There's also a rust hole there that needs to be taken care of, and then we can work on the fender too. So we're definitely coming along. Same situation over here basically, just didn't have to replace quite as much of this metal. So we also had to put patch panels in back here. All that was nothing but filler and Bondo. So I'm pretty happy the way this is turning out so far. Okay, so we're nearing the end of this fender skirt delete video. And while I got the car outside, I wanted to show you some of the things I've done to help build a lip on the wheel well. I used this here, welded it about 1/8 of an inch back, and then that created a wheel lip in the areas that didn't have one. So give you a better close-up look here what we're working with. And again, all the issues were cut out and replaced. One of the other problems was the trunk. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I believe PH Fabrication made me these patch panels left and right. I actually got his employee to come over and fit them for me to save me a lot of time, and he done a real good job with that. I think his name's Jeremy. And then all I had to do basically was weld them in, seal them, all that good stuff. So anyway, they do offer a floor, but convenience had it made, had the left and right made. So here's the other side. Again, another piece that had to be made was up in here. I just made that out of steel. And right now everything's roughed in. So looking forward to showing you the finished product as we wind this on down. All right, so that's gonna about wrap up the fender skirt delete conglomeration here on the 59 Cadillac. Wanted to show you a few of the things we ran into. You'll see all of that earlier in the video. More than likely I covered it, but I did go ahead and stick the chrome back on with some plastic snap-on clips. Of course, I can't really understand why Cadillac made a two-door hardtop molding here in two pieces. It makes it appear that someone used a four-door molding on the car, even though it came that way. But I went ahead and put it back on there for now. And I wanted, after having some fitment issues on the other side, I wanted to make sure that the chrome pretty well is gonna fit on the body, and it does. The clips are not, those plastic clips are not totally doing 100% right, so the stud clips is gonna be utilized at a later date, and probably metal clips here to hold better, even though I wanted to use the plastic. This stainless is just not holding as good as a aluminum molding like on the Monte Carlo. So I was able to put my chrome snow cones on. Real happy to get those on there. Again, these are from Dan, Big Fens 59 out west. You can look him up. He's got a lot of nice Cadillac parts. This color does not match. This is a temporary fix, base coat, clear coat, just to preserve the body work that's been done, because this work that I did it in a huge hurry. Besides the actual skirt delete work, I pretty much rushed it to get the car back together. I didn't want it down for an extended period of time. So just did my DA and blocking with pretty much a DA, primed it, sanded it, and painted it. It's wavy, yes, it's wavy. I don't care. It will be straightened out. I painted it, it was 40 degrees, it has runs. It's less than perfect. Here's where I ran into a legitimate issue with the molding. Now again, they're not holding like they probably should, but here you can't use a stud. So after using metal clips in the future to see if this will catch, if it does not catch, I'm gonna have to make sure when I do the repaint on this entire car that this panel is body worked to match the molding. So if you attempt something like this, just make sure you fit the moldings to the car. LS swap's coming this coming year. LS engine sitting over there in the corner. But this video is not about future progress. This video was about this conversion. You may like it, you may hate it. I like it. I'm glad it's over with, and basically the biggest part of the work is done. Again, when I do the all over on the car, yes, this will need to be blocked correctly, straightened out, because you can't see it. It looks pretty good in this video, and it's a light color, but you know, it's some rod run body work down through there, if you know what I'm saying. So again, DA blocking is not the way you correctly block a car. I was in a hurry, I did not care. I just wanted to get the conversion done, back to driving the car. Get my chrome snow cones on, so now I'm cool again. One more thing, and this is gonna come at a later date. Fender well moldings will have to be made for this car. I think temporarily I'm gonna experiment with some of that stick-on stuff from the parts store to kind of see how big that I want it to get it to match the front. I'll probably ride around like that for a while. But down the road, when all this other conglomeration is over with, I'll have to get someone to make a fender well molding, probably work on it before it's ever painted all over again. Let Philip play with that, see what material, probably aluminum because it's easier to bend. And then I can have them chrome plated or polished and actually have a fender well molding for the car. So that's actually going to be the worst part of this whole ordeal. So with that being said, fender skirt delete is complete. Get back and give you a look at it there with the two-tone butternut yellow going on. Cadillac called that some other sunshine, sunburst gold or something crazy, but it's not gold, it's butternut yellow like a 66 Chevelle. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the conversion, I'll do my best to answer them. If it's something drawn out that I need to explain, I can do a different video. But overall, both sides are pretty even. I'm not gonna say they're 100% even. So I'll have to, you know, make sure if something needs a modification before the car's all over, that's fine. But pretty happy with the way it turned out. I am not a sheet metal guy, so this was all done by me, and it took some time. I have probably 40 or 50 hours in this whole ordeal. Now, if another car wanted to be done this way, there could be a template taken off of the what I've done, and simply Philip could make a conversion panel for y'all out there and wherever you're at land, and you would just simply cut your car and weld this in. It would not be a cheap panel, and he would have to use this car to do the measurements. So again, once one set was nailed down, then more sets could be made. But there's not enough of them out there to actually make a stamped piece. It would have to be custom made, and that gets into time. He's at 90 bucks an hour on his sheet metal fabrication, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing something like this. This conversion, if you'll watch the earlier part of the video, can be done by you, and you can choose to do with it whatever you want. You may do the can dig it route and round them out even more and eliminate the side trim. I wanted to keep this car as if it had been done this way at the factory, which that is, I believe, is what they would have done, because it would have matched the front. So, enough rambling. I think I've got the point across of what I did here. It's almost the end of the year. Hope you had a good year, everybody. Thanks to all my viewers, and to keep the channel growing. Was able to monetize back in September, so I've got a few extra bucks coming in, and the more you watch, share, like, all that, the more cool stuff I'll be able to do. And maybe in the future I'll actually be able to do some stuff that's strictly for the YouTube channel. Right now I still have a day job, which is restoration, and I plan on always doing that. So that's always top priority, is making the customers happy, doing a good job for them. Anyway, so with that being said, all the rust is fixed on this car now. Trunk, quarters, bottoms of fenders, rockers. It's all straightened out. Solid bones, no more rust. LS swap's coming, and we'll keep you in the loop on that. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.